Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a while actually since I've uploaded anything. I did actually want to start filming yesterday, but as you can hear, I had a really good time on New Year's and I still don't really have much of a voice, so I thought it was best to kind of leave it until it was back a little bit. So what I wanted to kind of do in this video is get you up to speed, because it's been, I don't even know how long it's been, about 7 weeks potentially since I've uploaded anything, and I haven't uploaded a vlog since the end of prep in October. So I thought we would make a start with where I'm at currently and all that kind of thing. So today is the 3rd of January. All of the celebrations for this year are done. I did actually go home and spend a good week with my family in Shropshire, which was really lovely. I then came back to Brighton and celebrated New Year's here, which was great. So I did have a little bit of, I had like 3 days off plan in total over that time, which was really nice. But what's actually been going on, obviously I've been in my off-season. Food is actually the highest it's ever been. I'm currently eating 2,700 calories on a training day and 2,500 on a rest day, and what I'm going to do today is show you exactly what it is that I'm eating. I'm still checking in once a week, holding myself accountable, so please remember, if you are in your off-season, these things do matter. You know, your coach needs to make sure that things are moving in the correct direction, and that the look, although we're not looking to get leaner, we are looking at other markers as well. Body fat wise, are we still getting good pumps in the gym? Are we rested? Are we recovered? Because the time now, and this is how you look different on stage next year. So aside from all the stats and the numbers and that kind of thing, how am I actually feeling? I'm feeling really good actually. I had blood work done about 4 weeks ago and everything was actually in range. I feel very much recovered from prep. This has been because we have increased my food so much rather than slowly reversing out. Now I know people have different approaches to the end of prep and coming into an off season, but for me, Vicky's always done this and I have obviously followed the plan to a T, and that's left us in a really good position. No, this is a short off season for me, so it's really important that I nail everything. So without further ado, I will get into this full day of eating. I am on a meal plan. I've kind of taken a step away from macro tracking, so I will catch you when I make meal number 1. So meal 1, eggs, turkey bacon still, and some sourdough. And that is the first meal of my day. So that's 100 grams of sourdough, 2 eggs, 2 turkey bacon, and of course some strawberries. What I will do is I will pop the macros on the screen. So just before it gets to like midday and you're thinking, what have I actually done with my morning? So this morning has consisted of getting my check-in feedback back from Vicky. All is good, we're not going to change anything. We are simply going to get back into routine, allow the inflammation from extra food to kind of drop off. I've also had some client calls for posing. If you don't follow my Instagram, go and follow it, and you would have seen this logo pop up quite a lot, which is kind of what's taking up a lot of my time at the moment and I'm absolutely loving. And what I have now, a online posing session with one of my girls that actually lives in Saudi Arabia, which is very cool. She's stepping on stage for the first time next year, and I'm taking her through all of her poses from scratch, and then I'm off to do some steps and just get myself ready for legs. I'm not in university this week, so I have got time between posing lessons to just kind of chill and relax and get back into a nice normal routine before the madness of uni starts again next week. So that is posing clients all wrapped up. What I do when I train is I actually make my post-workout meal and shake beforehand, and then when I'm traveling back from training I just eat, because it takes about 30-35 minutes to get home. So I'm going to show you what I have. It's basically very nice chicken rice. We have pineapple, good old chicken and rice. Yes, I don't have a rice cooker. Butter, teriyaki sauce. We also have 30 grams of whey as well post-workout, and I'm currently using the double chocolate from Perform, which you can pick up from Strom. So, fast forward to 11:45. Work is pretty much done for today. I've got some steps in as well. It is now time to get ready for training. So what I mean by that is not just get change and that kind of thing. It's just kind of mentally switch off from whatever the hell is going on in the rest of my life. And it's really important that you do that, because otherwise if you don't, you just end up carrying that into your session. So pre-workout meal here is basically just carbohydrates and protein in this meal. So you can really tell I'm in off season. This is really not the nicest looking meal, but it tastes very good. It's 100 grams of cream of rice, 40 grams of whey, 100 grams of cherries, and 10 grams of honey, and about 4 grinds of pink salt. And that goes in about an hour, 45 minutes just before I train. I'm just gonna make my intro workout, which hasn't changed since I've come off prep. So 20 grams of Carbomax, which is just some carbohydrates and also some hydration related ingredients, and then 15 grams of Essential Max. If we kind of compare this to prep, I'm basically just having some carbohydrates intra-workout, but I obviously had those EAAs when I was on prep as well. Also some pre-workout today because it's leg day. Pretty much a failed leg session. So with it being Christmas and all this kind of thing, I've been kind of traveling and having a little bit of a different setup in terms of my rest days, what days I train what. So yesterday I ended up training pull, and today I tried to train legs. Anyone that does any kind of lower back loading in their pull session knows how they feel the next day. I thought I'd be fine going into legs, and realistically my lower back, my erectors were just absolutely ruined. So straight on my phone let Vicky know. I was like basically told to take it really easy and to train with like 2 or 3 reps in reserve, which is not ideal, hence why I have a lot more energy now than I would do normally after leg. Considering my session was pretty dead, I decided to not film, and also it was very busy with it being like the 3rd of January. But what I wanted to do was just kind of cover a few little bits and pieces regarding my nutrition. So my macros are, I don't actually know, so I should probably check. 345 grams of carbohydrate, 175 protein, and 47 grams of fat. So on a training day I have 20 grams of Carbomax, which I showed you earlier, and also a post-workout shake. Obviously I don't have those on a rest day because I'm not training, and I have been having one off-plan meal a week. What outside of training has been going on in the last few months? Obviously I have started posing with some more clients, which I'm really excited about. I've actually also started working with some guys as well, some men's physique guys, and there's a few other people, and it's just kind of really exciting to be expanding. And more than anything, I just genuinely enjoy it. It allows me to bring in that kind of background that I had in dance and just kind of apply that to something different. As you will probably know, my split is a little bit different now to how it was, but I am now running a legs off, pull, push, off, upper back and delts. Now that 5th and final session of the upper back and delts is obviously because I need more upper back and delts, and it just kind of reinforces that just because you're a bodybuilder or you're a competitor doesn't mean that you need to train push pull legs or upper lower. It needs to be tailored to you. I am going to get on with some more work. I have some bits to do for posing, making sure I'm ready for tomorrow because I'm posing with a men's physique client, and so I will catch you when I eat my next meal. This is a brilliant way of saving on calories, like 50 calories. There's like no fat in this one. The real secret with the air fried potato is to boil them in the saucepan for like 5 minutes or so. And I know because someone will ask, I cook my beef just in fry light, I don't use any oil or anything like that. I am just chilling. It gets to, you know, 7:45, 8 o'clock, and I try and get off my laptop in terms of work, try and wrap up any kind of form checks, client messages that I need to get done, and then what I do is also start tapering off my water. I'm still drinking like 6 litres a day. For me, this is perfect for my digestion, but what I also have is Digest Max still. For me, it's something that I use daily. You don't have to use it daily, it can be more of an as and when product. Having my last little bit of water with a little bit of squash in, because I've just found when it's a bit colder, drinking plain water, I just don't. And then I get dehydrated. I wrap up my water around this time, because if I have it any later, I just find I can't sleep because I'm up weeing. Basically, anyone that drinks the amount of water that most of us do who compete / bodybuild is not ideal. And what I'm gonna do now is try and watch the new Harry Potter thing. I think it's on Now TV, which I don't have, so I'm gonna try and worm my way into a free trial so that I can watch it, and remember to set a reminder on my phone to cancel it, because I do not want to be paying £10 a month for the next 50 years for something I won't use. I found it. Time is now just coming up to 9 o'clock, so I'm going to make my last meal, which is a big yogurt bowl full of good stuff and some dark chocolate. 100 grams of berries, a little bit of cinnamon, a little touch of this 40 grams of mixed berry granola, which is really good. The best dark chocolate, which is the salted caramel one from Aldi. So that is absolutely everything that I do eat on a training day. I'm gonna enjoy this, chill out, go to bed, and see you in the morning for some exciting bits and pieces. So it is now, of course, the following day. I have just wrapped up about 2.5 hours of writing for a uni assignment, so I do feel a little bit less stressed. I tried to go out and do some steps, but it's absolutely pissing it down, so I'm not gonna do that. But I just wanted to fill you guys in on what is happening today. So I'm actually going to be working with a guy who is competing for the first time next year in men's physique, and we're basically just gonna go through some poses. He's never done any kind of posing before, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit of what it is that I do. I have worked with a few other guys, men's physique guys before, and I do really enjoy it. I genuinely, it doesn't matter who I'm working with, I just like to be able to explain to people what it is that they're being asked to do on stage and give them the tools and the understanding to actually do that, rather than just saying, okay, stand like this, stand like that. And I think it's really important that people actually understand what's being asked of them, because when you're not there as the instructor, as the coach, whatever you want to call it, they need to be able to do it for themselves and understand what it is that they're trying to achieve. So I am gonna eat my second meal now because it's around midday, do a little bit more work, and then I will see you at the gym and just give you a little bit of a run through of what it is that we're doing. So I'm now at the gym and I'm here with Rafe. Rafe is a completely new men's physique competitor. He is yet to step on stage, so I thought I'd get him in the studio and show you guys a little bit of real beginners men's physique posing. Tell us a little bit about where you're kind of at currently, plans for this year and that kind of thing.
Okay, so I've been training around 4.5 years now. I've only been getting coached for the last 2 months. Looking to compete next year around September, end of summer. So I haven't had any posing coaching before, so this will be interesting. Hopefully I'm not too bad.
No, not at all. And I stress this all the time, the importance of not leaving your posing till the last minute, because you can work and execute prep to a T, but if you cannot present your physique in the best way, then that's how you're being judged at the end of the day. So this stuff is really, really important. So we are gonna get into a session, and I'm just gonna highlight some bits and pieces that will be potentially useful for you as a first-time men's physique competitor. What I'm gonna do is look at Race from pose as it is currently. as it would be normally. And then what I'm going to do is just make some very small adjustments. With men's physique, the most important thing is for your lines and your taper to always be on display. This is a very kind of aesthetic class. It's important that you are kind of doing that all the time. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to relax, and we're always going to start from the feet upwards whenever we're posing, doesn't matter what we're doing. It's important that the feet are set up properly and so that the rest of the pose can actually kind of flow from there. What we are going to do is slightly lean the weight into one hip, but what I want you to think about is having your feet just outside of shoulder width. We don't want to create a massive gap between our feet, there is no need. What I will say is make sure that the toe that you're kind of leaning into is facing outwards, and the leg that's out to the side, you're kind of pressing the inside of your big toe in, because before you kind of had it more forwards. Yeah. So you take the feet just outside of shoulder width, and you're going to lean that weight more through that way. And we obviously don't want to bend into this leg too much, but we want to keep the knee relatively soft, so we will be able to pick up the other foot. Before we open up the lats and go crazy with that, something that's really useful to try and do is open up the lats without actually moving your arms. If you just set the feet up as they were before, just open up, lovely, and being able to open up as much as possible before you even move the hands is really important. So another really important thing to remember is keeping the distance between our chin and our chest open over time. We never want to be looking down. That kind of tells the judges that we're nervous, we're scared. Think up through here, and we're thinking about the kind of contact between our tricep and our lat. If you relax again and just practice setting those feet up and shifting the weight into one side, and without doing anything crazy with the hands, is opening up there. Good, lovely. And making sure from delt to delt is nice and even as well. Very easy to have one delt kind of higher than the other. Okay. We don't want to lift and expand our rib cage too much. Okay. So we just want to keep it quite neutral there. Yeah. Okay. And then the opposite hand to the way that our legs is leaning is going to come onto the waist. Okay. So it's this hand.
This one.
Yeah, because you're leaning into this side. Okay. Probably the biggest thing that happens when anyone poses is as soon as they move their hand onto their body, their lat just turns off completely. That's why you need to get into the habit of opening up, and you should be able to do anything with your hands, and these lats stay on. Okay? Yeah. So always practice opening up first, and then moving that hand on. Okay? With this other hand, we're going to have this in like a relaxed kind of fist. We're not going to have anything forced, and it's not going to be too far from our body. It's going to be nice and tidy. So we could actually bring that hand down ever so slightly.
This one, or this one?
This one, sorry, right hand, yeah, lovely. And don't lose this side here, okay? Lift up slightly more through the chest. Good. Nice, and making sure these shoulders stay in line. And we're just going to go through and set that up again one more time from the floor. Pulling up through the back first. And keep this on. Think about pulling those lats out towards the side. So now what we're going to do is go into our first side pose, and it's really important to note for people that haven't stepped on stage before that we always get asked to turn to the right first. So going to your left first is not really going to happen, okay? So setting the feet up as always first, what we're going to do is start off with both our feet facing the wall, and we're going to take our right leg and we're just going to step it ever so slightly behind, seeing how my quads are still kind of like attached as such. Okay. I haven't, separated my legs completely, okay? Before we turn our body, what we're going to do, just like we did with the front pose, is open up the lats. So keeping the torso this way, we're going to think about just opening up the lats and allowing the delts to kind of sit on top of the lats, okay? So all we're going to do now is think about turning through the shoulders towards the camera, keeping those lats on as much as possible, round to there. Good. And the more that we can twist, the better. Okay? Now, Rafe has done exactly what I wanted him to do, which I'm going to correct, is lean backwards into this pose. Okay? And then what that does is kind of throw everything off a little bit. So before we turn, what I'm going to get you to do is just kind of lean your weight forwards into this foot a little bit into the front foot. And as you open up, you're going to keep the weight more over that foot. Good. To kind of correct that, because you wanted to lean backwards there. Okay? As we're there and we've turned across, what we're doing is we're bringing this hand onto the waist. Okay? And we're keeping the lat open and on. We're squeezing between the tricep and the lat. Okay? Now, if you think about pulling this lat forwards, that's better. Rather than worrying about pulling this elbow back and round too much, okay? So it's all about creating that taper, okay? With this back arm, what we want to be doing is we do want to be bringing it round, because we want to be seeing the delt, but what we don't want to do is bring it round so much that we're doing this, okay? So we want it nice and relaxed, and it's helping us create that top line. Bring that hand ever so slightly, just the hand, so from the elbow. Yeah? So we've got to think about this joints in our arms. We have to move different parts of our arm at a different time. Okay? So when that's there, we're kind of relaxing from the elbow to the fingers, and we would basically be asked for our guns to be in like our hands to be in kind of a gun shape when we're there. Okay? So there. So making sure this is nice and level. And the ideal world is for us to be able to see this back lat, okay? And instead of bringing this arm round to try and pull that lat through, you're thinking about turning through the upper back and the kind of like thoracic spine. That's where the twist comes from. The twist does not come from moving the arm around here, which is really common. People are like squeezing the hand round to try and pull the lat through, but it comes from up here, which most people are not able to just turn crazy amounts through there, and that comes with practical mobility on top of your flexibility and so on. Okay, let's try that again. So having that right foot behind, we're going to open up first, we're going to point those legs towards the mirror, and it's those shoulders and the rotation there that's the most important thing. Good, keeping that on, lovely. And making sure we haven't gone, yeah? Good. And the more that we can rotate and the more that we practice that, the better. Considering you've never hit the side pose before, that was a decent amount of rotation, and the more that you do it, the easier it'll feel. So if we set that up one more time, it's just getting in the habit of knowing where the feet are going, knowing where everything is supposed to be. So we open up first, and we're just going to do that one more time, and this time I want you to just lean a little bit more forwards before, just because you are kind of like that. It's so easy to. So think about that weight coming through and tidy those legs up, so making sure that they're actually together. Turning through here as much as possible. Don't allow the shoulders to roll forwards. Think about squeezing into it. Relax from here and pull that left lat towards the mirror. That's better. We want almost the delt to be sat on top of the lat. Okay? And again, making sure that you're breathing through your chest as opposed to your midsection. So that is the session all wrapped up with. We had a really good time in the studio, and I wasn't initially going to include that kind of segment to the video, but I thought it would be useful to someone, so yeah, I thought why not. But obviously yesterday you saw my full day of eating. It is pretty different to what I was eating on prep, so if you haven't seen what I was eating on prep, then please do go and watch my videos. I documented the majority of my prep from 2021. Please do give that a watch if you haven't seen that, and if you are new to my channel, then do not forget to subscribe to my channel and drop this video a like. I really look forward to making some more content, just taking you guys through what I'm doing in my off season, as it's only about 3 months until I prep again, so it's really not a long off season at all. So hopefully you'll be along for the ride before I start prep again in 2022.